Hello, everybody. Welcome to Justice Served Daily. We are, as you can imagine, like everybody else, been reading through documents and stuff that was dropped today for Richard Allen's case, done by Allen County by the Judge GULL, and we started reading through stuff. They had a bunch of documents that was dropped. They did have some that they did remain sealed, and which is, what was it, about 18, 19 pages that were not released, but quite a few that was. And we were starting to go through some of them. And, oh my God, some of them as we go through it is just, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but we are going to let you know about that. So welcome everybody here. Hello, Shane. Hello, ATS News. How are you? Real Slim Skittles. Love the Skittles. Phantom. Cami, hello, everybody. So we are going to get into this, and yeah, it's really crazy. So we're going to start let me say this. They didn't drop it like in any particular order or something that would have been convenient to look at for any of us by any means. But we are going to show you what at least I think is the first shocker, a document, I think, in my opinion. So let me, oh, don't be funky with me here. Let me share my screen with you guys, and we'll do this here. Oh, by the way, sorry guys, I do have Paige and Mama Bear up here.
Hi.
Hi guys.
I'm just like, hey, yeah, by the way, they're up here. We have been just going like, oh my God, I can't believe this document or this document, and it's really crazy. So we are going to go to our very first one, and this document in particular that we're going to look at, and let me make it as large as I can. If you see any problems that anybody says about not seeing it, can you guys let me know? Because since I have it up here, I can't see it. But
looks good so
okay,
far.
so all right. This is for state of Indiana court, obviously Carroll County, Richard Allen, motion for leave of court to subpoena a third party records. So obviously you see the prosecuting attorney, all the regular information of requests and stuff that are going on, his details and stuff like that. So while working Delphi investigation, Carroll County Sheriff Department Detective Tony Leggett developed information that Richard Allen was involved in the murders of victim 1 and victim 2. Victim shows the following. So they talked about the girls found deceased on February 14th of 2017. As you guys know, February 13th was when the girls had actually went missing. They talk about the approximate miles and location and where their bodies were located. And they talk about the trail from the Monon High Bridge and the abandoned railroad trestle that we've all seen so many pictures and stuff for. So they go through that kind of full description of everything.
This is the probable cause, right?
Right. And so, yeah, basically they're stating what they saw, the description of him, right? The description, as we all know, as bridge guy. And most of these documents are kind of one-page documents, but they go through everything that we saw, the witnesses that we saw, everything was here. It goes through what reviewing informations that they encountered a tip from an officer who interviewed Richard Allen in 2017. This is when he confirmed himself that he was parked at the old Farm Bureau building. Also, you guys would also know it as the CPS building. And about the 3 females that had saw him and noticed him and recognized him. Him's talking again that he saw them, had to, because he knew it. They talk about the cell phone. So this is everything in probable cause. And I'm going to go down to, and I'm going to let you, Paige, tell me, let me see what number, on page 7, isn't it? Or is it?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's towards the bottom
of page 7 here.
Basically, it kind of caught our eye because we've read through this probable cause affidavit for Richard Allen. I'm sure many of you have, but we noticed a bit of information that I definitely haven't read in this before, and it regards Kathy, his wife.
Kathy Allen.
Right.
And this is page 7.
I think it's up further than that. So keep going up. I'm sure it's on the bottom of the second to last page. Oh, right here. Okay, keep going up. Yeah, up a bit further. Sorry, up, not down. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I've lost.
Okay. Yeah.
Where I am.
I think it's kind of the bottom of this. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's where it is.
I think.
Okay,
it's
guys.
Further
I'm going to pick up that whole thing here. Upon Richard M. Allen's arrival at the facility, he was placed on suicide watch because of certain statements that he made about harming himself. Throughout his stay, his mental health improved to the point that he was taken off of suicide watch. He was also participating in recreational time and beginning to exercise. The facility reports that he was doing well and that he had no issues or concerns. His day-to-day demeanor was that he was quiet, read a lot of books, and did crossword puzzles and exercised daily. On April 3rd of 2023, Richard M. Allen made a phone call to his wife, Kathy Allen, In that phone call, Richard M. Allen admits several times that he killed Abby and Libby. Sorry, guys. Somebody rings the doorbell, and there you go. So the investigators had the phone call transcribed, and transcription confirmed that Richard M. Allen admits that he committed the murders.
Yes. So that's a part that I have not read before.
No, absolutely
today.
not.
No.
Absolutely not.
That was very telling.
Do you want to read the rest of that page, or from the thing, or do you want to comment more on it?
Yeah, so it does describe a little bit more about Richard Allen's circumstances as well, that I think that we've like heard of, speculated of, but also we will get to it. But there's interesting letters that were written kind of defending Richard Allen by other inmates, saying that he probably isn't being treated fairly. So I think that's interesting too.
What about the call being hung up abruptly too?
Yeah, so in regards to that phone call where he admits to killing Abigail Williams and Liberty German, he admits it several times. And it says here that Kathy Allen ended the call abruptly after, that info. So we don't know if he said that all repeatedly after the other, or whether he kind of scattered those confessions throughout wherever the discussion was. But it says there at the end that she ended the call abruptly. So
right.
Yeah.
So part of our thought process at the time when it came out that Richard Allen had admitted 5 to 6 times that he had involvement in the murders of the girls. There was a lot of assumption of where did that go? Where did it come from? Did we hear?
Yes.
Was that heard from the warden, right? Because they talked about there are letters that went to the warden and copies of that. Now, one of the things that was shared though during the case, and that was brought up, was that the prosecutor did tell the defense that they could have copies and transcripts of any phone call that Richard Allen had while he was in prison, right? That they would pass that information over. Right. And we also thought that was pretty interesting, because one of the theories is like, okay, did Kathy Allen know that Richard Allen had confessed before she went into trial? What we were curious, did she learn about it when she went into trial? And then while the whole case and everything is happening, we also learned that the first time that Kathy Allen ever physically went into the prison to visit him was not until May. Right. And that was the one.
So that would have been after he confessed.
After he confessed to her.
Exactly.
After he said it. Now,
and also
she hung up and she hung up. She got off the phone. I mean, what else would you do if your husband told you that? Right? It's like, holy crap.
Oh, God. I probably would have said some stuff before I hung up.
Yeah. But the question is, did she hang up? This is what I was saying before. Again, we're kind of just doing this on the fly, guys. So please forgive us.
Said she ended the call abruptly, but we don't know the context.
That's
right.
So we don't know the context. That's a nice way of your wife just fucking hung up on you. Sorry.
I don't know though, because we don't know the context. So she could have done that in relation to shit, I don't want him to say anything else, I'm going to hang up.
Exactly.
Or it could be, oh my fucking God, what the hell is going on?
Right.
Yeah. We don't know.
So again, as you see here in writing, black and white, on April 3rd, he tells her, he admits to her several times. So he didn't just say it to her once. He admits several times to her.
He didn't whisper it once.
Right.
He said it with his chest several times.
Right. That he killed the girls. So if you look at that, So the investigators then are having the phone call transcript and transcribed. Of course they are. That Richard Allen admits this. Now, if anybody thinks this is some kind of entrapment or whatever, when you are in jail or in prison, either one, your calls are not private. Your
Everybody
calls
knows that.
Everybody's told that. Everybody knows it. No matter what, you know that's happening. So
it's interesting. The next line literally says that soon after, it was when the attorneys for Richard Allen filed for the emergency
for
motion to
safekeeping
modify.
order.
Yes.
Right. Now
It literally
I
says
find that interesting though. Come on, guys. So again, so he does that. He admits it several times within the phone call that he committed the offenses as charged. He did it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Right.
big time. So then his wife, so here's the line. His wife, Kathy Allen, ends the phone call abruptly. Okay, what do you call that, guys? I call that hang up. I call that a hang up. It's that.
Yes.
This is when you wish I know any younger people don't know the old fashioned phones where you used to be able to slam down a damn phone and it made a loud freaking crashing sound. I'm sure that is the sound that she wanted because I
More
can't even
satisfying.
imagine. I can't even imagine.
We were a little shocked when we saw that, so to say the least. So it was,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I shouted at you all when I read it, and I was like,
Like,
Yeah, I think we were all shout.
that happened, listen to me.
Wait a minute. Let me quote our transcript. Holy shit. There was our transcript right there. Right? Okay. So so then we got the other line. I think it's all telling, guys. Soon after, the attorneys for Richard Allen filed an emergency motion to modify the safekeeping order. So then that's when the defense is stating that they're worried about his mental state and that it has declined because of the facility. But what did we all just read up here?
He was doing really well by the sounds of it.
oh yeah, he was playing in the yard.
He was being more active than I probably would have been if I was in there.
No kidding.
I would have been sleeping the whole time.
So up until the call with his wife, he was doing all these wonderful things, doing better.
He originally was put on suicide watch. You got to think she had not gone to see him at all. She had not even gone to see him. So now he's sitting here. He finally adjusts. They take him off a suicide watch. He's playing games and stuff like that. He's having no issues. He's having no concerns. He's doing crossword puzzles and he's doing exercise daily. He's going out to play, right? He's got all his shit. And then all of a sudden, when this call doesn't happen until April 3rd, he finally admits to his wife that he did commit what he's charged with. He did kill Abby and Libby. So, and then they're going to file that, right? Oh my God, he's lost his mind. He's confessed. So, yeah, there's a shocker.
Yeah, and also...
Go ahead.
In this somewhere, it also mentions that they not only have this, through a phone call confession, but they have an video, confession.
Yep.
Yes, because he's being taped 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
So
they heard how it was done, what was happening from that. So let me widen this one for you guys. This is the next one that's going to be it's going to be pretty shocking and stuff for you guys. So then we go into, this is the defense motion to suppress, and this is basically evidence that they collected. So we're going to look at this one because obviously this is of interest here, right, guys? So this is one of the things, because we were really hoping maybe we would see the probable cause affidavit of the search warrant that was done to Richard Allen's house. So don't start doing funky things to me over here. Nope.
Of course it's going to be funky things.
Okay, so the state's objection to the defense motion to suppress. Now comes the state of Indiana by prosecuting attorney Nicholas Glenn and respectfully objects to the defense motion to suppress and would ask the court to deny the name, and in support said motion states the following. I want to make sure this is the one that has all the items listed in it.
So many of them look the same.
I know this is the one. This is the one that they were. I'm trying to make sure it has it listed though.
Yeah, it's down below that, JSD.
Okay. All right. So this is the prosecutor. Okay, coming back. So that on May 19th of 2023, this is the day they went to his house, guys. So the defendant filed a motion to suppress the evidence seized as a result of the search warrant executed on the home of the defendant on October 13th of 2022. October 13th of 2022. Remember, his announcement was October 31st. That the defense, this is the date it was filed, was May 19th. The date the execution was October 13th. Sorry if I misstated that. The defense alleges that the search warrant was unreasonable and under the Indiana and federal constitution, in that it lacked probable cause, that it failed to establish that the items that to be seized were in the residence or could be expected to be in any residence. The affidavit failed to provide particular information that particular items related to that particular crime would be found in the home, and that the affidavit failed to connect the generic items to actual items that were possibly used in the crime. So that on September of 2022, while reviewing the evidence in the investigation in the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, investigators discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen in 2017. Here's the name, guys, with the conservation officer, Dan Dullen.
Yep.
There he is. Now it's confirmed. There it is. So we have the conservation's officer name. Now look at the date. The date is saying that they sat here and they re-examined that in September of 2022. So then October 13th, right, is when they go back, they look at this, and then, they suddenly are looking at his house. Okay. Yep. So then in 2017 interview, Richard Allen admitted being on the trail that day that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing. 5, that he stated that he was on the trail between 1:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. and that while he was on the trail, he was using his phone. This is all crap we all knew. So, nothing new so far. That on October 13th of 2022, investigators invited Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy Allen, to speak to them and follow up on that interview done in 2017. So that both Richard Allen and Kathy Allen came to the interview on their own on October 13th of 2022, were not under arrest and were free to leave the interview at any time. The investigators learned from those interviews that Richard Allen reaffirmed that he was in fact on the trails the day that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing, and further admitted to being on the high bridge. That he also told investigators that he was wearing a blue jacket and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood, and that he was wearing a head covering. That further, Richard Allen stated that he did own guns and that he had guns that were in his home. The investigators learned from Kathy and Richard Allen still had guns and knives in the home along with this blue jacket, right? So the investigators believed a firearm was involved in the abduction and murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German because an unspent .40 caliber round was found between the bodies of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. The investigators believed that the knife was used in the murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Now, I always have to watch because I know sometimes some people know some details, and then when we know certain things, we're not sure if you guys know. But, I mean, we knew about the gun because the parents had talked about that they got to hear more of the tape that you heard that Abby said, is that a gun? That there was a click. If that's the best term, I don't know if click is the best term.
Kind of
but,
cocking noise.
Yeah, kind of cocking back the gun after it was said. And then that it was talked about in the probable cause affidavit for Ron Logan that they were looking for knives, because the FBI investigator in that probable cause affidavit talked about the sharp object that was used to kill the girls.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think we've ever seen it written down, though, that they believe a knife was used in the murder. We only have seen a sharp object, really.
Well, it says in the autopsies, and this is where I think this should come in, autopsies of the girls ruled their deaths as homicides, and their wounds were caused by a sharp object.
Yes.
Right, and that's a document we'll be looking at.
And this actually says knife.
Right, does say knife.
Exactly.
So then the clothes that Richard Allen described wearing the day he was on the trail matched the description of the man seen on the bridge from the video by Liberty German's phone. So, oops, sorry, went too fast.
Sorry, JSD, didn't mean to go out of order.
That is also gathered that Richard Allen still possessed the firearms, knives, and the clothing, and said items were in his house. That, based on his information, investigators prepared a probable cause affidavit with the search warrant for the home of Richard Allen. So we got to talk about that there. So when they talk about did they have probable cause, they've already talked, he was already spoken to once. They're re-looking at the interview. We won't even, we're not going to argue now, because we have before, and I'm sure we'll do it again, about how long this interview with the DNR officer happened, right? So now that they finally did go back, they're looking at this document. They don't say what reason made it do it, but they're saying they look at the document. Then what do? They call back in Richard Allen and his wife. They're talking to him. Richard Allen doesn't suddenly say, well, that's not me. That wasn't me. That's not this. That's this. Right. He's confirming. Yes, I was there. I was on the high bridge. I was wearing
this. Yeah.
He's saying I'm there at the exact time this shit goes down, right? So whatever. So he does all of this, but based on that he says all of this information, so they get a probable cause affidavit to go and search his home. So that October 13th, comes on. Investigators applied for that search warrant on that date, and it was granted that day by the Carroll County Judge, Benjamin Diner. Now, remember, this is the first judge who in Carroll County was going to hear Richard Allen's case, but he stepped down from that case. And, there was lots of reasons for that, but, mainly he had all kinds of stuff that was happening. They have that. So let me make sure I read this little piece here. So the investigators applied for this on August 13th. The same was granted that day by Carroll County Circuit Court Judge Benjamin Diner, herein attached as stated Exhibit 1. Investigators went to the residence of the defendant located at the 1967 North Whitman Drive, Delphi, Indiana. Now, I want to, before I forget, I want to note that this house has been put on the market. It was shared out that the house is up for sale. It is shown with furnishings that will come with the home, meaning kitchen tables, the bed.
It's literally fully furnished.
Yeah, fully furnished home.
What does that tell you right there?
Yeah.
Detachment.
Yep.
Get the hell out of there.
In my opinion.
Well, yeah, you're not worried about keeping any memories, because the memories you have may not be that good, right? If you find this out. Or do you think it's all a lie, right? Somebody lies to you about something, you would think that's all a lie as well. So they knock on the door. I'm sorry, dear.
I was going to say, or money.
Yeah. They knock on the door. They execute the search warrant at 5 p.m. on October 13th. The search was completed, look at this, at 7:09 p.m. 2 hours and 9 minutes. The defendant and his wife were asked to be out of the residence while the search warrant was executed, but were allowed back in the residence immediately afterwards. Investigators found several items in the residence, including firearms and electronic devices, all of which is outlined in the search warrant return attached herein as State's Exhibit 2. The search warrant, that for a search warrant to be valid, it must be accompanied by an affidavit that established probable cause, which is a sufficient basis of fact that exists to permit a reasonable, prudent person to believe that a search of the premises will uncover evidence of a crime. And so then they have the case exhibit thing for that. Indiana Code, specific, the minimum enforcement necessary to establish the probable cause, which is follows. So then it goes through all that, describing the house, legending items in relation to, the good cause to believe that they have the items in the home or concealed, committing the offense as described, setting forth facts known as to the affiant through personal knowledge or based on hearsay in the probable cause. Under Fourth Amendment, the evidence needed to obtain a search warrant need not rise to the statute of facts necessary to obtain a conviction. The circumstance alleged in the affidavit need only lead a person of reasonable caution to believe that a crime had been committed. That when sufficient of the search warrant is challenged under the Fourth Amendment by the defendant, as it is in the defendant's motion, the role of the reviewing court is to simply ensure that there was a substantial basis for finding probable cause, reminding itself that it owes great deference to the initial probable cause determination and will not invalidate a warrant by interpreting probable cause affidavits in a hyper-technical rather than a common sense manner. Article Act, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the inquiry requires a balance of degree of concern, suspicious knowledge that violated had occurred, the degree of intrusion, the method of the search or seizure, imposing on the citizen. Honestly, they really didn't do much of imposing on them if it lasted for frickin' 2 hours.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they thought they gathered enough in that 2 hours. Maybe they do have substantial things, but then it just makes me think, surely there could have been other places you might not have searched in that time. How many people were there searching? Do we know that? How many officers?
I'm not sure because of the, there were multiple cars and stuff there, and there was cars that stayed with them while they were looking at
if
the
there
house.
were a substantial amount of them, I do think they could cover a lot in 2 hours, but I'm not really sure how many there were.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget too, they're just looking for items. It's not like it was the crime scene itself either.
No,
Right.
that is true, but it has been a lot of time since,
Sure.
so someone could literally hide something in the weirdest place.
Well, they had 5 damn years to hide, to get rid of anything and clean anything they wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, they waited long enough for them to find something that was given to them in 2017.
And if anybody did look at, the home listing, like we did today, didn't they have 2 garages and then an outdoor shed and a crawl space?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why, if it was a crime scene, then you would think, why would they be allowed to sell it, right? Because could there be something else left? But because you're not looking for a body there, right? You're not looking for, that's where the actual murders were committed. So
they were just trying to confirm.
They still had the evidence or he didn't. Either he still had the guns or he didn't. Either he still had the knife if they thought he had used the knife or he didn't. I mean, the one thing I feel that could find something is that if he was muddy and bloody getting into that car and he kept that car, my thing is that car would still have DNA traces in that car, because if
And
he's
we
going in
have
that vehicle muddy and bloody, there's going to
more
be DNA.
information about that, right? In
Yeah,
here.
I hope
Yes.
so. I'm hoping here. So they believe that the items to be seized were in the residence by the statements that were made by Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy Allen. And that the particular information and items related to a particular crime would be found in the home based on the statements, again, by both of them. And that the state believes that the affidavit connects generic items to actual items that were possibly used in the crime based on the investigators' evidence that they gathered through the investigation. So that the evidence that was gathered in 2017 was reaffirmed by interview done with Richard Allen and Kathy Allen on the 13th. And they believed at that time that they had enough probable cause to apply for the search warrant, and that they did not execute a search warrant on the residence immediately, that there was a danger of the defendant would destroy crucial evidence in the investigation. The investigators believed that through their training and experience, believed that there was a real chance that the defendant would destroy evidence once he knew he was a suspect in the crime. So, you know, I don't know how you say that now when when you gave him 5 years to do it, but whatever. So here is the search warrant with the info, guys. You are hereby authorized and ordered in the name of the state of Indiana with the necessary and proper assistance to enter upon the property, including the residence, outbuildings, including a wooden shed on the property, and a 2006 black Ford Focus SE vehicle located at the 1967 North Whitnam Drive in Delphi, Indiana, Carroll County. Said property being the resident of Richard M. Allen. The resident located on this property is described as a ranch-style home that is brick with a 2-car garage, as further depicted in the attached photograph. The property also contains a wooden shed. There is also a 2016 black Ford Focus SE located on the property. Law enforcement is ordered to diligently search for any and all information and or evidence of the crime of murder in violation of blah, blah, blah. Specifically to search for a handgun, .40 caliber, ammunition, knives, blue sweatshirts, jackets, black sweatshirts, jackets, clothing, electronic devices, and a cell phone with phone number 317-612-4533. Any other cell phones and any other electronic devices located in or on the locations described above. Law enforcement is authorized to search these areas to determine whether or not it has been a violation committed as described in the affidavit, and the residence, in the yard, in the vehicle, and any what do you call other places. We'll put it that way.
Don't ask me to say it.
Yeah. You are further ordered to seize such property or any part thereof found on such search, and that you bring the same or any part thereof forthwith before me to be disposed of according to the law. So here you've got, again, that's the previous judge here. And here we go.
Ooh,
the search
I just
warrant
got goosebumps.
confirms that he believes and has a good cause to believe that the evidence related to the crime, and they tell of the date, they tell of Richard, they talk about the evidence, the handguns, the knives. This is everything that they asked for and everything that was confirmed. So they go back through the information about Abby and Libby. And then this
it literally tells us the video length and everything here.
Right.
Yes.
So important, this part.
So you have that on Monday at approximately 1:50, Abigail Williams and Libby German were dropped off by a family member at the Monon High Bridge off of County Road 300 North. And then on Tuesday, February 14th at 12:17 p.m., the girls were found deceased. Their bodies were located in the woods northeast of Monon High Bridge. Autopsies
And there we
of
go.
the girls.
In the woods, I just want to point out, sorry.
That's
Yes.
all right. Did I not say woods? I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I want to just emphasize
not
that
the
part.
water.
Emphasize that
You're
point.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right.
Sorry.
That's a good point. To anybody who thinks it was the water, it was the woods.
They were found in the woods.
Yes, near the water, not far from the water, but in the woods. So the autopsies of the girls ruled that their deaths is homicide, and their wounds were caused by a sharp object. Investigators located Libby German's iPhone 6S under her body.
Oh my God, see, we never knew that either.
Under her body.
Oh.
Yep. I found that very, very
Shit.
telling.
At the scene, and they were able to recover a video approximately 43 seconds in length, captured at 2:13 p.m. on February 13, 2017. The video depicts that Abigail walking on the Monon High Bridge towards Liberty, while a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. Near the end of the video, the man is heard in the video telling the girls down the hill. Through further investigation of the location of the bodies, investigators also located a .40 caliber unspent round. They also determined that articles of clothing from the girls were missing from the scene. So you have to first, everybody has to realize, okay, so we know the phone is found underneath Libby.
Yep.
We learned
Huge.
that there were articles of clothing from both of the girls. So, you know, it's not just one girl's clothing that was there. From both of the girls, something was taken.
Exactly. And like Paige also pointed out, that they were found in the woods, not the water. You know, it was, I mean, that was perfect.
So
I don't know about anyone else, but just reading the phone under a body.
Yeah. When I read that before, it was, I know, honey. It's,
yeah. Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay.
No, it's okay. We know. We know.
Devastating.
It's hard to, you know, when we learn, every time we learn more detail.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like makes it more real each time.
They also determined that the articles of clothing from the girls were missing from the scene, including a pair of underwear and a sock. Through the investigation, there was interview done with 3 of the 4 girls that were on the trails that day. The girls observed a male on the trail on February 13th that matched the description the description of the male in the video recorded by Liberty German. The 3 girls identified as, oh, wow. They released it, didn't they? That's interesting. That is really
their
interesting.
names are in here. And
they're in there. Yeah.
You would think they would have redacted that, but
No.
3 girls identified as their names, I'm just going to say it that way, encountered the male near a bench, east of the Freedom Bridge. So he is on a bench east of the Freedom Bridge.
Yep.
So if anybody doesn't realize that, the Monon High Bridge is the bridge the girls are walking across. The Freedom High Bridge, that Freedom Bridge is the one that is going over the interstate area. So just to make that clear, I know sometimes people get confused with the bridges. The male they encountered was walking from the Freedom Bridge towards the Monon High Bridge. One of the 3 girls described the male as an older man walking on the trails as they were leaving, and she described him as kind of creepy. in a text from Anna to this other person, described that the man is wearing like blue jeans and like really light blue jacket. His hair was gray, maybe a little brown, and that he did not really show his face. So investigator Steve Mullins and Brett Ingram interviewed the girl and described the male as wearing the blue jacket, light blue, faded blue jeans. The jacket was a canvas duck type jacket. The other girl was also in the group of 4 girls, said that she said hi to that man, but he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black and had something covering his mouth. The other girl recalled telling her sister that someone was in a grumpy mood. And she went on to describe him as not very tall. There's a description right there.
Because he's not tall.
Not very tall and bigger build. And she said that he was not bigger than 5'10". So the other girl went on to say in an interview that he was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots. She said that he had his hands in his pockets. An interview that was conducted in 2020 of this other 3 person, she was able to show investigators a picture that she had took on her phone of the Monon High Bridge with a time stamp of 12:43 p.m. And she showed investigators another picture she took at the bench just east of Freedom Bridge when they were leaving at 1:26 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, that's a typo.
Yeah, that's not right, but I'm going to just read what it says. She stated that after she took the picture of the bench, they started walking back towards the Freedom Bridge. Then she states that when they walked past the man who matched that description of the individual in the picture, that's when they passed him. Detective Lidja believes that the picture that she is referring to is the picture law enforcement released of the man on the bridge taken from the video.
Right, so she recognized him from that image.
Yep. I'm just looking, hold on.
All
Taken
these
from
little
the
things
video
that
for Libby on cell phone today. She described the man wearing the blue and black windbreaker jacket. And then she stated the jacket had a collar and he had his hood up from the clothing underneath the jacket. She advised that he was wearing baggy jeans and was tall.
I'm sorry, JC, real quick. I just want to interrupt with that one point because to make people understand, you know, he's got his hood up and everything. Remember, you know, it was seasonably warm that day. You know, it was not cold for that
so it's
area.
Unusual.
Yes, to be having your hood up and all these layers and, you know, sorry, just wanted to make that point.
She stated that her head came up to approximately his shoulders and that she had said hi to the man and he said nothing back. She described the man as walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. Also stated the man had his hands in his pockets and kept his head down, and that she didn't get a good look at his face, but believes he was a white male. As the girls left that, they crossed the Freedom Bridge and the railroad bridge over the old State Road 25. An individual by the name of Betsy was returning to the trails to finish her walk. And she is seen on video at the Hoosier Harvest at 300 North, traveling eastbound to the trailhead, to the park at the 1:46 actual time. It's written in, I call it military time, but whatever everybody calls it. Blair saw the girls walking above as she went underneath the railroad bridge. So this is that woman who went under the bridge who saw these other girls going under the bridge. So on September 21st of 2022, Detective Lidgett was provided a tip narrative from Orion Den blah 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 to review. It was from DNR Lieutenant Dan Dolan. Again, this is the guy that everybody had been wanting about. We didn't have this information. Well, let me put it this way. They did not release this information. I'm going to word it that way, to everybody in the probable cause. They weren't telling everybody who that person was.
Am I correct in saying that the tip that led them to look back into Richard Allen was actually from the same DNR officer that talked to him in 2017? Is that what they're saying here?
It looks like he is looking at something from the Orion.
Oh,
see?
Okay. Because it says, was provided a tip narrative from
the Orion DIN number, like it's typed up, right? Like it's a thing to review. Right. He was given it on that date to review. And that he was reviewing was from the DNR Lieutenant Dan Dolan.
Got it.
And then this thing right here, that was in the probable cause affidavit that we saw before. It just didn't put Dan Dolan's name in it.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we're going to be close to done soon. And I mean this case. I don't think they would release all this shit. I don't think they'd release all these names if we were going. That's my opinion.
God.
But
justice for Abby and Libby, man.
Can he pray? Keep praying.
So they're going through all this stuff again, where he said he was, where he said, that this is where he says about the CPS building, right? The judge believe he is referring to the old Child Protective Services building. That's why there's some people who go, oh, the Farm Bureau building, or people who have said, oh, it's CPS building. It is the CPS building. That's what it used to be.
Right.
So
even I, in the beginning, thought it was a different place because obviously I'm not from there, so I had to confirm.
Yeah. So in 2017, Richard Allen owned a 2006 black Ford Focus and a 2006 gray Ford 500. So upon review of video collection from the Hoosier Harvestone on February 13th, investigators were able to locate a vehicle that appears to match Allen's 2016 Ford Focus on the video at 1:27 p.m. That's actual time. This coincidence with Allen saying that he was at the trail at 1:30, right? So 1:30, he said he's there. They see his car there at that building. So then Lidgett examined the timeline for the day of the homicides and previously said above, so these girls were leaving the trails and passed by that male matching the description of the male in the video taken by Liberty, and given the statements by Allen and the timestamp of the video from the Hoosier Harvest Store and statements from the three girls, Detective Lidgett believes that the male the three of the girls saw was in fact Richard Allen. Allen obviously says he passed the girls. He walked to the Monahan High Bridge. He's trying to say there was nobody there. When he went to, I'm sure this is his, I was looking at fish from 80 feet up in the air. I'm looking at this. It goes through again all the witnesses that we saw in the CVS building. It talks about that Blair. I'm jumping ahead down here to the Blair part of leaving. She noted a vehicle was parked in an odd manner at the old child CPS building. Actually, I think Blair's a man, but anyway, she had said that it was odd that it was not odd, for vehicles to be parked there, but that it was odd that it was backed into near the part of the building. And she said the vehicles often use the south edge of the parking lot, so they are closer to the trail to get to the Freedom Bridge. And that's when they reviewed a tip from Terry Wilson. Wilson was on his way to Delphi on February 13th at the Hoosier Heartland Highway at approximately 2:10. He observed that what he described as a purple PT Cruiser or a small SUV type vehicle parked on the south side of the old CPS building. Wilson said that it was backed in to conceal the license plate of the vehicle. And during their interviews, both Blair and Wilson drew a diagram and had the vehicle that they saw parked in the same general area and manner. An interview was done with Sarah Carabaugh in 2017, and she states that she was traveling east on 300 North and observed a male subject walking west on north side of 300 North away Monon High Bridge. And she stated that he was wearing blue colored jacket, blue jeans, and was muddy and bloody. Man, that just description freaks me out.
Right on the money.
Yeah. She further stated that it appeared he had gotten into a fight. Investigators determined from the video that she was on 300 North at 3:57. So basically 4 o'clock. So what's creepy about that to me, everybody, is that this is when they're there looking for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're there.
Everyone's just starting to arrive and stuff.
The dad has been sitting there looking for the girls for quite a while. The problem is he didn't go that way. He went the other trail.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that's when other family and stuff started showing up around 4:30.
I'm pretty sure
5:30.
Kelsey said that she was due to start work at 4:30 and she had a phone call about 4:15 from her grandma.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
So Richard Allen, when he's interviewed on October 13th, at Investigation Center, he was interviewed by Detective Lidgett and Carroll County Prosecutor Stephen Mullins, and he agreed to come to the center and speak with them. And he was advised of his rights and further advised that he was not under arrest and he was free to leave at any time. So this really goes into the whole, I don't know if there was anything new that we saw here. He did talk about he saw the 3 girls. The only part here I want to get into is then Kathy Allen speaking to them.
Yeah.
And so Richard Allen's wife, Kathy Allen, spoke to the investigators as well. And she confirmed that Richard Allen she have guns and knives at their residence. She also stated that Richard still has a blue car jacket. The evidence gathered shows that on February 13th, 2017, that the 4 girls, and all their names, and were on the trail, that they observed the male individual walking on the trail to Monon High Bridge. They talk about what he's wearing again. I'm just trying to see if there's anything here that they captured again from, I don't want to miss Kathy Allen's statements. Then they go through, like they normally do. Then this is all of Liggett's
yeah, this is quite good, like what Liggett's point of view is.
Yes. Very.
So
this is interesting.
So here, I know. This is okay. So this is the property receipt. This is property receipt, guys. And can everybody still hear us okay, by the way? Sorry.
I hope so.
Okay. Yeah. We're
still going to keep talking.
I hope you're all there.
Yeah, right.
Everybody Shane. Hey, Faye. 50 Shades of Faye. Hey, Darren. Hybrid. All right, so now we're going to go through this, guys. It's going to blow your freaking mind, right? Oh my
We
God.
miss you, Cal, by the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so here is what they took from the home that's documented. Sealed cardboard box containing one black Sig Sauer P226 40 caliber handgun, serial numbered la 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 la. Sealed plastic bag containing 140 caliber S&W cartridge found in wooden keepsake box.
I mean, can you
dresser between both closets in the master bedroom. That's
Creepy.
interesting because we took the photos, remember, guys, of the house.
Yes.
Anyway, if you weren't here, the Richard Allen's house is up for sale with furnishings. Okay, so they have the that keepsake box freaks me out. Okay, sealed plastic bag containing 140 caliber S&W cartridge found inside Sig Sauer P226 handgun. Sealed plastic bag container with 2 magazines, one filed with 9 40 caliber cartridges and one with 8 40 caliber cartridges. Sealed paper bag containing 1 black Sig Sauer handgun case containing 1 trigger lock with 2 keys. Sealed paper bag containing a paper wrapped wooden weave box containing 2 AudioVox devices, 1 silver Motorola flip phone. Wow, that's an old sucker, isn't it?
Yes,
1 silver Motorola flip phone. So there's right, and 4 car chargers and 3 wall outlet chargers. Sealed plastic bag containing 1 Lexar compact flash memory drive.
Oh, shit.
Why would they take a memory drive? I don't know. I got my hints. I'm sure if you watch my show ever, you know what my thing is. Sealed paper bag containing 1 pair of dirty Thorogood boots, size 7.5. Man, that is small boots for a man.
He is a small man.
That is small size boots. Okay, sealed paper bag containing 1 pair of dirty black boots, size 6.5 regular.
That's even worse.
I know. How is his feet shrinking? Sealed envelope containing 1 silver double-edged knife.
Wait a minute. I got a good theory. He obviously wore shoes that were too small or too big.
There you go.
On purpose.
If he's that damn smart, he wore shit he wore to work.
That might have been the only thing that he did that was smart.
Let's see. So the sealed envelope has the 1 silver double-edged knife in a silver metal sheath. Then he has an envelope containing 1 brown, gold, and silver folding knife. Then he has a sealed envelope containing black sheath containing 1 brown, gold, and silver folding knife. He has a sealed envelope with 1 black sheath containing 1 black handled silver bladed imperial knife. We've got another envelope, 1 black sheath containing 1 folded knife with a red and gold handle. Then we have another sheath containing 2 Ozark trail knives. Then we have another one, black sheath containing 1 knife with a wood ivory handle and gold guard. Then we have a rusted old-timer folding knife, 1 sharp 2-bladed folding knife, and 1 black folded Gerber knife, and 1 black folded knife. Then another, we have red-handled Crosley multi-tool, 1 blue multi-tool, 1 green and gold Indiana National Guard multi-tool, and 1 black and multi-tool. Then we have another black sheath containing a brown-handled, silver-bladed saber brown knife. Then we have 1 blue jean jacket with red stripes, Adidas. Then we have 1 black quarter zipper sweatshirt, 1 black and green Fox hooded sweatshirt, 1 black and gray North End coat, 1 blue Carhartt coat. There's the coat people describe right there.
Yeah.
1 pair of Timberland boots, size 8. Why do all these size boots he have different?
That's what I'm saying.
A
That's
6.5, a 7.5, and
Very good
an 8.
theory. Very
Suspicious.
good theory, Paige.
I smell a rat.
So then he has got a pair of blue jeans, size 34-29.
Oh, he is short.
He
He's
is
got
not a
29
34.
legs.
Give me a break. And then another pair of jeans, 34-29, Arizona. And another 34-29. Then he has Levi Strauss 34-29. Another Levi Strauss 34-29. Winter gray hat with fur-like fibers. Black and red UFC hooded sweatshirt with full zip. A quarter zip George sweatshirt. A quarter zip Walmart sweatshirt. A George sweatshirt, quarter zip. Kenneth Cole sweatshirt. Fruit of the Loom sweatshirt. Starter sweatshirt. God damn, how many sweatshirts?
Well, they were instructed to take any kind of sweatshirt.
Spider hooded sweatshirt. Sweatshirt with an old label. A blue Adidas sweatshirt. A brown cap with a small bill. A black WRI stocking cap. 1 black NASCAR Ford Racing stocking cap. 1 black Adidas stocking cap. 1 white, 1 gray, brown Canada stocking cap. An Adidas skull cap. An NFL Colts skull cap. Another a Carhartt stocking cap.
They took a lot of shit, guys.
10 pairs of gloves and 1 extra glove. That's odd.
So where's his friend? Where's the other glove?
Yeah.
1 blue fabric strap and 1 blue green fabric strap. An HP laptop serial number. An HP Pavilion laptop serial number. A multi-plastic bag containing multiple headbands.
Men's
1
ones?
cardboard phone box containing miscellaneous cellular information.
Oh.
A Winchester Supreme Elite empty ammo box. A smaller envelope containing 1 Cruise Micro 2 gigabyte flash drive with Rick on the back of it. Wow. 1 gigabyte Western Digital hard drive.
I mean,
does anyone have this many hard drives just lying around?
Kidding.
I don't.
Not if you had a job that you maybe had to do presentations and stuff with, but he's a pharmacist worked at Walmart. Why did he need a whole bunch of freaking crap
and
like
a terabyte?
that?
You figure a terabyte, 1 terabyte back then, that's a lot, you know?
Then they took a Samsung phone in a floral case, a miniature katana with red tassels.
I don't know what that is.
A black sheath and 1 Rapella fillet knife from Garage. A black sheath and 1 The Best Defense knife from Garage. A black external hard drive and card. Wow. 1 smaller envelope containing 1 black iPod serial number. A smaller envelope containing 1 32 megabit SD cards.
No.
A black sheath with an animal imprint on the front and 1 large wooden handled knife with a rusted blade from the Garage. 5 miscellaneous vehicle chargers. 9 miscellaneous.
How many knives does one person need? I just need to ask that. I'm sorry. It's a lot of knives.
Well, he's got 9. What's this one? Hold on. I'll move this.
Oh my God. Are you going to try and count them all?
Sorry, hon. I don't need to.
9 miscellaneous wall outlet charges. Miscellaneous phone accessories. HP laptop charger. 2 pagers. 1 black and 1 blue. 3 Motorola, and 1 large flip phone. Wow, isn't that all interesting?
LG.
LG Verizon smartphone. 1 cardboard box containing an LG version side slide smartphone. 1 Motorola Verizon smartphone. 3 older cell phones. 1 AudioVox, 1 Nokia, and 1 Motorola. 1 cardboard box containing 1 Nokia, Twist cell phone, and documents. 1 Garmin Street Pilot C340 device with 2 cords and documentation. Garmin C3 device, 2 cords, documentation. Plastic bag containing a custom vehicle operations motorcycle cover bag containing a motorcycle cover. A Black Pixel XL cell phone need serial number with OtterBox thing. A Samsung Galaxy A42 5G serial number. A bag sealed with Stevie Mullins containing 1 Aquafina water bottle. Don't know what the hell that is. A silver.
Interesting they mentioned his name.
I don't
They
know.
haven't mentioned anyone else has sealed the bag.
Yeah, true.
Sorry.
Maybe that's because that's DNA.
Interesting.
He probably drank out of the Aquafina bottle and they kept it.
Interesting.
Next is a singular wireless flip phone. Tell me that's not CSAM shit. Sorry.
I know. I mean, I hoard a lot of stuff like old phones that broke, but I literally only have like 5 hanging around, not this many.
So here's the thing to blow you guys' mind. A cutting of a carpeted area underneath the spare tire of the Ford Focus. They cut it out. Then
so that's, wait a minute. Sorry, underneath the spare tire?
Underneath the spare tire of the Ford Focus.
Okay.
So a Ford Focus isn't that big.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about the car, I mean, he could have had a tire just sitting actually in the trunk itself.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Sounds like the trunk.
So then he's got 2 plastic wrappers containing 1 swab from a driver lap belt and 1 swab of a driver shoulder belt of the Ford Focus.
For blood.
Yep.
DNA.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Sealed envelope containing 2 plastic wrap containing 2 swabs from the passenger side carpeted floorboards.
Who was sitting on that side?
Or what did he put on the floor?
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I know that was a lot, but honestly, that is as good as that is honestly as good as seeing what the search warrant itself was. Right?
That's probably the best document that was dropped in the entire thing.
Oh, yeah. So the other thing we want to show you guys is this. Because I find this interesting. Remember, this was information they wanted withheld. This is from CVS headquarters, that they wanted information from them about Richard Allen. And they talk about the 30 days that they have to get this information to them, and that they request documents encompassing the full scope of the term, based on the rules, blah, blah, blah. limitations, all writings, papers, photographs, videos, and other recordings, communications of any kind, whether printed, electronically, recorded, filmed, or recorded, or produced manually by other process. The term document includes all margin of communication, handwriting, notes, data, blah, 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 blah. Kind of appealing. Gosh darn it. Don't pop up anything weird on me. I'm in the middle of something. Okay. So it's doing this. For each document produced, identify the corresponding request. If you claim any information sought herein privilege, in whole or in part, object of any requested or believe any document would be excluded to introduce the state regardless of relevance, blah, blah, blah. Instructions. Request for production of documentation and records to a non-party is made pursuant to Rule 2. You're entitled to reimbursements for costs resulting from your the request or producing of documents. You're entitled to security against damages or payments for damage which may result from all of this, blah, blah, blah. Failure to respond. You're required to keep the subpoena for information. And this is what they asked. Documents and records to be provided. The work records for Richard Allen. Please provide copies of all work records for Richard Allen, including attendance records for those days. Personal files for Richard Allen. So obviously we knew what this is. It's going to prove, did he work that day? Did he not work that day? Right. We knew that kind of information was in there. And when they say of any information on it, they're going to sit here, and when they get asked for a request of information, let's see, this I think has it. Certify that the service of true and complete copy of the above foregoing leading of paperwork was made upon the following parties. And this just shows the CVS headquarters was filed. Obviously, we don't have a copy of that part, but I'll show you the other piece of the CVS. And that is here. And I'm going to blow this one up a little bit. And this was when they asked for them to, they were trying to keep the information from being sought. So again, this just proves that the judge did say that they had to provide the information from that piece. So we got the search warrant we covered. We covered the that he told his wife in prison over the phone that she hung up on him. That was in April. We know she saw him in March. And then we have the subpoena to search warrant that we looked at. And then we also have the Westville subpoena, which is the for the jail. And this goes through all of this. And basically the people are asking for information from them to state any medical documents that they have concerning Richard Allen, any recent physical things from physicians, right? Any evaluations that they had at the facility, basically from the time that he got there to November 3rd. And remember, what we looked at was the paper that said about that he admitted to his wife that he did it. They're sitting there talking about how he was doing good. And then all of a sudden they're trying to claim he's not doing good. Why? Because suddenly he's not, he's telling his wife that he committed the murder. So now he's not, must not be doing so well, right? Because now he's saying it. He's stating it himself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Out of his own mouth.
Samantha, he told his wife in April.
April
On a
3rd.
phone call. And remember, we did comment that when they just went to court, they didn't make any direct looks at each other. He didn't even look at his wife, right? He did not acknowledge her when they were there. So I'll tell you from at least oh, let me think. Mama Bear, did you put the was there anything on the autopsy that I should pull that up? That report?
Nothing other than, like I said, what it's just that little blurb what it said as far as what the autopsy.
A sharp object.
Yeah.
So we know that they're looking for knives. He's got tons of knives, and he has tons and tons of electronic devices.
Yep.
Tons.
And USBs and chargers and car chargers.
Yep.
And bullets and everything. And clothes. He's got more clothes than I do.
And shoes. Lots of shoes. Different
Well,
sizes.
that explains, you know, because when you think about it, it's not like he took a bunch of clothing with him to jail, right? So that explains, I mean, they took all his jeans, everything that with him, just in case anything that he would have possibly been wearing.
Well,
they took his sweatshirts and all that.
In that letter from the judge, it did state, you know, take any kind of blue-black sweatshirt. So they did. They took them all.
Yes, they did.
Samantha, I agree with you. I agree with you. And, you know, and public art critic, that's the thing. So you're sitting here, I don't know what communications, I know that they talked, though, you know, right? So Richard Allen talked to Kathy Allen back and forth, right? They did talk. She did not go to physically visit him until May. We know that from the information that came out from the court documents. But then to sit here and to think that you are talking to him, right, on the device. And you know what, guys? It doesn't say this, but I'm going to take a guess here. Do you guys remember that we heard in documentation when he went to court that they were not charging him for a tablet that he broke, right? They're not going to break it. Well, maybe he broke that tablet after his wife disconnected after she told him.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't a phone call, it was a video call, and that's why they have a video of him confessing as well. It's the same one.
And and remember, the prosecutor stated that they have more evidence to give to the defense for discovery. And that's only because it's not that they've been hiding anything. Every time, that's an ongoing thing until you go to trial. Anything that they continue to find leading up to the case. And so let's throw out an example here. We know that it was tested for the carpet in the car, in the Ford vehicle he had. So what if they find DNA and they can confirm now that that has DNA? What if those electronic devices, they find that he is using the Anthony Shantz account, communicating with Libby, and or he's communicating with somebody to set up this meeting with the girls.
Right.
Yep.
So
he passed their info from someone else.
But I get you guys. If somebody, I don't care, man or woman, if somebody tells you that they killed children, you know, what the heck?
I mean,
I'm pretty sure I said this. I've said this to you guys before, like in our personal conversations, but me personally, even if like a family member of mine was arrested on suspicion of doing this to children, I would immediately not support them and wait to find out the truth. That might sound harsh to some people because innocent until proven guilty, but if that was someone in my family or my husband, I'm sorry, but immediately I need to know why you're suspected of this, and I'll talk to you if and when you're found innocent.
But
Right.
the thing, like you just said, though, Paige, innocent until proven guilty, right? That's the basis and the theory we always go on, of course. But
But if it was my
he
family
admitted
member,
to
that's not
his,
the way I would
yeah,
think.
but
Yeah.
his wife, he told his wife in April. We know that now. She didn't go see him until May, and they just had court and she was there. Now we've got a house that's up for sale.
Yep.
Is there support? Is there not support? What's going on?
I
You
don't
know what,
know.
Publix art critic, I don't think that I don't think the girls were tricked into going to a party. I think the girls were tricked into talking to a teenage boy, like most CSAM cases are, and a lot of them that
Yes.
I investigate,
Yes.
and that it is done to teenage girls all the time. That there is something that happens that it's an elevation to what kind of level of person you're dealing with CSAM. And when they deal with CSAM, there's a lot of different things. Some of them just want to get the CSAM images, and that's their overall goal. Some of the guys then turn around, and their thing goes from CSAM to now they want to meet up with this teenage girl that they're faking of who they are, and then they want to basically sexually assault the girl and convince her to be there and to meet there. And to be there in the middle of the afternoon when these girls are there, in the middle of the afternoon when they're dropped off and when they're supposed to be picked up, those girls were there thinking that she was going to finally possibly meet this person. The only way I have a different thought on that is that she was telling friends that somebody was bothering her on the phone. Now, if it was this person who was continuously trying to ask for images and she was trying to ignore that person, that's where your CSAM person could be worried that they're going to get caught and somebody's going to find out that they're doing that, and they don't want that person to speak. It blows up their whole world. Their whole world is gone after that. So, there's a lot. There's a lot. Sorry, I'm trying to read everybody's stuff here real quick. I think I'd support up to date conviction if could change. Until then, hard to blame family for standing by anyone. Done at Tuesday. Thanks for doing this today. Oops. Let's see. Shane. Not a problem, hybrid pieces. Yeah, I think 3 times a day build up. Yeah, I think that the problem is I do believe that there has been tons of CSAM people in here. There has been a huge increase of CSAM that has been busted since Abby and Libby. I just got the numbers and stuff from that of cases. I'm going to be covering that, and it is going to blow your guys' minds. Obviously, I continue to do the CSAM, but the numbers of reports have gone crazy, absolutely crazy. And you guys won't even believe it. I mean, you guys won't even believe the amount that has popped up.
It was shocking, extremely shocking.
So I think the biggest find that I would say the most shocking thing that we found is that several times on April 3rd, we have where that Richard Allen admits several times directly to Kathy Allen that he killed the girls and that he did what he is being accused of doing. So we do know, at least now, that some of the confession does come from him actually saying it to his wife. We wondered that. We wondered whether she didn't know that until she went and showed up to court. But she knew that beforehand. She did do a physical visit in May, which was the only one and only physical visit she had done. She had not been there any other time. And we now know that the DNR person let me put it this way. I'm going to phrase it a different way. It has been confirmed out there that the lieutenant of the DNR officer who Richard Allen spoke to was named Dan Dunlin. We know that in the probable cause information and everything that was described, that the girls were found in the woods. They were not in the water. It was in the woods. I know people want to do that, so I'm just throwing that out there. I knew it was woods, but I'm just sharing. We now know that Libby's phone was found underneath her body. We know that there are both two pieces of clothing, which we knew that, but two pieces of clothing were missing. And that was a pair of underwear and a sock, and one from each girl. They said from each girl there was something taken.
We also have the confirmed length of the video captured on Libby's phone.
Right. We have the bench that the photo was taken of, or was near Richard Allen, where he was near a bench near the actual Freedom Bridge. He was just east of the Freedom Bridge. We know about the multiple devices. We know about the carpet cut under the spare, cut out from underneath the spare tire. We know about the jacket that they found. We know about that the Ford Focus was, by the way, was definitely the one, the black Ford Focus. I think that was 2016 vehicle that happened from. And we now definitely know that it was following after Richard Allen told his wife that he committed the murders. Even though the thing was saying he was on suicide watch, he was removed from suicide watch. He is participating in the recreational activities. He's doing crossword puzzles. He's doing all of this other stuff. He talks to his wife on a thing. He tells her, I did it. She abruptly leaves the thing, which I'm going to say that abruptly means I fucking hung up on you. Sorry, my French, right? Your spouse tells you that something like that happened and he did it. Then you're going to sit there and do that. We also shared with you that their house was put up for sale. It's on Zillow. You can purchase it furnished. What else, guys? Am I missing something? Because that's the big things that are in my head.
Well, those are the things that stuck out to us that we wanted to discuss now. Obviously, it was a lot of information that was dumped, so.
Yeah, and I think all of us, crazily tried to read through all of it in a really short space of time.
Yes.
Yeah, my hope was that maybe we would get the probable cause affidavit for the search warrant, but I think the documents that we got were actually great in the documents that we got, because it did tell us what items they took, what multiple phones and stuff like that they took.
Yes.
And we do also know that, there's more evidence and stuff that's coming in there. Like, we know what evidence that the defense team wants thrown out, which the defense team wants information thrown out, like the letters that were given to the warden. Remember, they did state that he confessed 5 to 6 times. And when we talked about that, it was like, okay, it sounds like that maybe in the letter to the warden he confessed. It sounds like that, and now we confirmed that he definitely told his wife. So
we also know the date now where law enforcement kind of looked back at Richard Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing is there, I'm not going to say it yet. I don't want to say it yet. We'll probably have to do another thing about the DNR guy. You know what I'm saying? We'll have to tell them what we know, what we looked into, and then what.
Yeah, because we've known his name for quite a while.
And we did some checking into connections between some people and other people. So, yeah, we
just
will
have
tell.
to go
We have some more info on that. We will tell you guys. We will tell you guys about that. But this info, we were just like, oh my God, we have to get this to you. We have to get this to you. And you know what? If a family, well, I always want to assume if a family is unaware, I'm going to tell this. I don't know either way, right? None of us know. We don't know yet, right?
No.
But I will say this: if Richard Allen connected using, in my opinion, a connection with the social media and scheduling to meet with Libby, because I don't think Libby's not going to go meet, just like any of the girls. All of these people with CSAM are tricked into this stuff, into trying to send images, in trying to do things, and to believe they're talking to another younger kid, boy or girl, right?
Right.
These wives don't know it. These wives don't know it. If you guys want to see a show that's really good about that stuff, I recommend you to go see. I already got Mama Bear addicted to it, that I think she's probably watched the whole damn 3 seasons in like a couple of weeks.
No, I think it was a couple hours.
It's called Undercover Underage. You may have seen previews and stuff for it. It'll tell you and teach you a lot about what these guys do. It'll show you the different levels of what they are. It doesn't go into an organized CSAM group, a CSAM ring, which I believe is what we possibly have here again in Indiana. We've had them before. They're huge. I'm going to have stuff that we're going to go over that when we actually have time. This is a non-prep show, guys. This was just, let's go in here, right?
Exactly.
This was, let's go tell them everything we know, because we want to talk to them and say, hell, what the hell's going on? But when we they don't tell them. They don't tell them. And see, there can be other people who can suspect something's going on, but you got to understand, they're not going to speak up either, because if some of these other people speak up and they're part of some CSAM ring, they don't want to get busted. And you know who never gets busted for those? I don't know. Let's talk about Epstein shit, right?
Yeah.
Look at his stuff that 4 years later it comes out, oh, well, there were some flaws, and oops, this camera was off, and nobody was watching, and nobody was doing this, and then he had like extra sheets in the damn room, and somehow he hung himself. And if you haven't answered my question about that, do you think he committed suicide, or do you think he was murdered? And I'm not going to give my opinion because that would be biased. But why does stuff like that happen? It happens because the big and powerful, the rich and powerful, are not going to be busted with those types of groups. And a lot of times those spouses don't know. But if you watch the Undercover Underage, it will blow your mind how many of these guys are married with children.
With children of their own. Yep.
Or engaged.
Yep.
It'll blow your mind.
It's so sad. Like,
and I personally, I do believe there is a connection to the Klein thing. You know, Anthony Shots, Keegan Klein.
In our opinion, yeah, we do believe that. What Hybrid was saying, I don't know if you see it, JSD, but you know, has a 12-year-old daughter, and the internet terrifies her.
And you know what?
Hybrid,
and thank God, Hybrid, it is good if you are aware of what is going on. And that is the reason that I know that's not the greatest topic that some people want to watch or hear about or whatever. If you've listened to the CSAM Survivor I did, if you watch the video done about the International Child Petty Ring that was busted here before in Indiana, and how it was all linked and connected and how it all was set up and worked. Those groups are
one
worse.
Different case after another.
Right. It led to all kinds of, if you watch, I started a new spotlight for the worst of the CSAM that I cover that are busted. that are not just Indiana people who are connected to Indiana. That guy was from California, but 11 of his victims were from Indiana. He had 100 across the United States and over in Europe as well. And he's from California. There is no geography for CSAM, guys, or for these perverts to talk to your kids. There is no geography in it. The only way you're going to protect your kids is to talk to your kids and to watch what they're doing. And if they're young, don't give them a goddamn cell phone before you have to. Please don't give them a cell phone before you have to. And they don't think they're doing anything wrong. And if something's happened, please don't make them feel like they've done anything wrong, because they get tricked and they're fooled into thinking, oh, it's just a kid. Because you want to know what apps are safe for your kids? None. The guys go in there and they are sitting here in every app that they know, a teenager. They're in the Kick teen chat rooms. They are in anything. They are online playing video games with your kids. Lots of people didn't know the Xbox had a Skype option in there. They can watch your kids. They want to see your kids. They want pictures from your kids. They tell them they love them. They tell them they want to be with them. They tell them they're going to pick them up.
They want to know where they live.
They're doing whatever. They do whatever to get the images. And then once those images are out there, then the kids are re-victimized every single time somebody else looks at it and sees it. There are ways for people to fight that. If you find out that something has happened to your child and they have had something out there, I very much encourage you to contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
I'm sure it's on your community page. You posted the link where you can speak to somebody about that if you are concerned.
Absolutely. And your shorts, honestly, JSD, that you're doing now too with the CSAM, it's just a short clip, everybody, that she's doing now, so people know exactly what it's about. And it's just a quick, informative little video, but they're fantastic, and she's working on more as we speak. So,
and she's even working on literally a spreadsheet, and we can't even keep up with the amount of these people who are being convicted of CSAM.
And we just got new details about. I've crossed at the bottom of the screen is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. What you need to do is talk to your kids, ask them, have they ever been asked by somebody to be their friend on a social media that they don't know? Tell them not to accept anybody they don't know. Absolutely. Tell them not to turn around. And have they had anybody who has tried to ask them to send images of themselves? If they do, you need to immediately contact NetMec. You can call them at 1-800-THE-LOST. You can also report it online as well. If they have sent images, you also want to contact the cybertipline.org, and they will help you and your child. They will also help try to get any images down that can be a part of that. And so
another thing too, JSD, and I'd just like to point out also too, please point out to your children that just because if they look up that person that sent them an invite to be a friend or whatever, and they see someone they know as that person's friend, that doesn't mean the person is still a good person, It just means
or even
possibly, they said yes.
Accepting friend requests from your friends' family members.
Right.
Like they're adults. Who are they friends with? Yeah, not a good idea.
Right. And there's a lot from that. I think honestly, for me, after reading this, it's more of what we thought, right? I mean, at least for me, it's more of what I thought because of all the cell phones and devices. That's why they're linking. I think if they think somebody else is involved, possibly, they may check those phones and figure out who else may be involved, right? They could find out who else was doing something. Or whatever,
and they listed a phone number.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
that phone number's disconnected now.
But I will say this, my thing is, I don't ever blame the victims. You don't ever blame children. Children cannot, it doesn't matter what they do from that. If they're under your age of 18 and you are trying to solicit and exploit them to get images, that is against the law. And that is not on them. That is on you. We don't blame victims. We don't blame victims' families. Don't do that stuff. That's not happening over here.
Children can never ever like be blamed for anything like that happens to them. Never.
Yep.
They're children.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're children.
And I think we're going to be sharing a lot more. We're going to have more about the DNR officer. We're going to continue. I'm making short videos about the CSAM. I'm trying to do this. June was the month for internet safety for children. I'm trying to do what I can, help protect your kids, help you know what's going on, help you know the tricks, let your kids know, be honest with them, tell them that there are adults, there are bad people who pretend that they're kids and pretend that they're teenagers or teens or preteens, and they talk to them. There are grown men who pretend that they're guys or they're girls, little girls. I mean, we know that the Anthony shot, we know Keegan Klein had that right. He was Emily Ann and he was Anthony Shots. Mm-hmm. We know the guy from California that got busted. He wasn't just doing his big one that he did with all the 100 kids, with all these kids across the U.S. What was his name? Lizzie. He was a little girl named Lizzie. And he had thousands and thousands of images. And the what's horrible is the best case scenario is they're getting images from your kids, nudes, and it's CSAM, right? Then the next step is that they turn around and they try to get to your kid because they want it's sexual assault. It's exploitation in that manner now.
Yeah, and
or
even trafficking. Worse. Yeah.
Right. And then or even worse, where it is sex trafficking. I know when I say that word, everybody's like, oh no, that can't be it.
No.
We have missing teenage kids that they'll sit there and go, oh, well, they ran away. No, they don't have to come get your kid off a bike anymore. No. They talk to your kid on social media. They think it's another kid. I'm going to go meet them at the mall. I'm going to say I'm at a football game. I'm going to whatever. And then suddenly the kid is missing. And they think, oh, well, maybe the kid ran away or maybe the kid did this, until they look at the social media. And these people persuade your kids to get away. Yeah. And once they have them, they can traffic them. They can sexually abuse them. God help us.
It's just like in how you would imagine an abusive relationship to work, right? You're so manipulated into even thinking that your family members aren't on your side. They aren't there for you. You're manipulated into leaving and meeting them somewhere, and then you're abducted. Something happens to them.
Right.
Sad.
And Shane, you're absolutely right. You got to remember that the kids, they just think you don't know, right? They just think, oh, mom and dad don't know. There's nothing wrong. I'm just talking to other teenagers. These are teenagers trying to be friends. They're trying to do this. They're trying to do that. But I really encourage you, if you have the opportunity to think, I think it's on Hulu, I think it's on ID channel, and it's Undercover Underage. And it'll blow your mind.
It's a hard truth, but especially if you're a parent or you've got young children or children in your family, it's important that you do watch it and kind of educate yourself on the kind of things these people do.
Absolutely.
They're sick, plain and simple. They're sick individuals.
And I'm sure when this case is done, we'll find out more. I hope they do keep Richard Allen protected, because if something happens to him, whether on his own that he does it or somebody in prison does that to him, we're never going to get the full answers. But and when we talk about this other stuff, if this is what it was persuaded, we don't know what the end game was for it, right? What was the end game? There's several theories of what the end game was going to be. If it's involving CSAM, there are still several theories of what the end game would be. But I know as a parent, I rather be extra safe and vigilant looking at something than not doing it and my kid's missing, or not doing it and my kid has to come and say, you know, they went somewhere and it wasn't a kid, it was an adult, that they're in trouble and they were sexually assaulted or something like that happened to them. And I
Or
I
even
want to do
worse,
whatever.
they go missing.
Yeah. Or they're gone. So I think that's kind of the big things that we got out of today, though, that we wanted to share with you. I think Kathy Allen's thing blew my mind. You know,
I remember the moment I kind of came across that part when I was reading through, and I'm pretty sure I shouted.
We all were
Yeah.
like, huh? And like you said, the information or the list of items that they took.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
That whole document that you spent time reading through had some very, very interesting points in there.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
like listing why they had probable cause. Interesting.
Yep. Is there any questions? Do we have any questions or anything out there? Obviously, we're gonna, I know with us, like I read it, then go back and read it, and then read it again, just to make sure. Was there something I didn't catch? Was there something in there? I mean, most everything else, I think we kind of, knew about from other probable cause affidavit. But those were the big ones that really in there. So,
Right.
Yeah, keep passcodes. Do random checks. Just be honest with your kids, guys. Just tell them, hey, you need to know that this can
And
happen. And
parental controls,
yeah,
use them
absolutely.
on the
Absolutely.
internet.
Do not let them have something that tells their location. Make sure they're not telling their location. They're not telling what school they go to. They're not telling any type of info like that. But
Their date of birth isn't on anything. Their age isn't on anything.
yeah,
Nothing like that.
absolutely. Absolutely. We appreciate you guys being here and jumping on with us.
Yes.
We thought we would jump in here and give you all that info. We'll keep an eye on it. Please keep an eye out. We'll drop more info and stuff like that. We're going to have more info coming out about the Indiana numbers that have increased since we lost Libby and Abby, and it is going to blow your guys' mind. You won't even believe it. You will not even believe it. So thank you so much. Thank you, Paige, for being here.
Thank
She
you.
would not be here once she saw that stuff. She's like, oh my gosh. And Mama Bear, thank you so much for being on here again.
Thanks for having me up on, and thank you for everybody in chat too. We appreciate all
Yeah.
of you.
Well, we keep reading. So, all right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
All
you,
right.
ladies.
Have a good one. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Paige. All right. So again, the NetMech is on the bottom of the screen. We have some more stuff coming up. We will review. We'll talk about the other things with you. We'll keep you informed of stuff we know is going on. In my opinion, I would not be surprised. This is what I would do if I was the prosecutor. Honestly, I would be like, okay, he's hating this location. He wants a better location. Why don't we sit here and say, okay, if you confess, you won't get the death penalty. We'll put you in maybe a better prison, right? We'll put you in a kind of not that harsh of a prison. And you tell us everything that happened, why it happened, and anybody else that was involved. And I think he would jump on that to get it over with. I don't see him wanting to kind of go through this and prolong it anymore. In my opinion, we'll see what happens from that. I would love that because I'd rather get the answers now than to wait so many years to go to trial. So many years to go to trial and wait for all of this to come out. So, hey, who knows if more of that info of discovery comes out to prosecution and they have DNA, in my opinion, hey, game's over, buddy. They have DNA evidence of blood inside that vehicle. I'm sorry, that's it. It's over. You've said you were there, you've had all this, you've told your wife, you've told other people, maybe even the warden. There's no way. But I think if he would tell everything and everybody else involved so we can get anybody else that's involved in this, because I don't want anybody to walk away. And they should do it now, because if he has to wait, think about it, if he has to wait a couple years in jail while they're doing a trial, isn't that more likely for him to hurt himself or for somebody to kill him, honestly? And then we'll never get the truth. I mean, I'm not saying let him walk or get out. Hell no. But I think that, let's get it done. Let's get it over with. Let's get the other people who may be walking around who's involved in all of this stuff. Part of the setup. Who set it up? Let's do it. We've waited too long. The girls have waited too long. It's been 6 damn years. He got to be out for all that time. It's time for people to have to serve for what they did. It's time for people to pay for what they did. Let's get it done. He needs to man up, say what it is, confess it, give everybody up, and be done with it. So I really appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you following this case. This case, when these girls went missing the very first time, and then here the next day that they were murdered, I'll just never forget that, because that was so scary. And when you live in a place that something like that happens, it's just so scary. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for making sure that justice is served daily. Good night, everybody.